Joining me today is Mr. Doolum, and we're going to talk about our call with RJ, the developer. It looks like Player's Voice had another call with him on the same day, so this call took place on Monday. You were on the call. I listened to the recording of the call afterwards. We're going to go over some of the details. There's a lot of context and things not discussed in the Player Voice notes, which we're going to go over today. In addition to that, it seems like they come out with a new code every 10 minutes, like right after I recorded yesterday's video, another code came out. What is that? Extra credit sept. It looks like they're giving out a lot of shop credits, which I think is good because we are like, where are they going to give out the shop credits? So at any given time, you can go and type in exclamation codes, not only on my Discord server, and Nightbot will respond to you. But this also works on Twitch chat. This has been great because it's community, mostly Steven Rastelin takes care of it, but all the mods just kind of, just when a new code comes in, it gets put on there. And so this is going to be current. If you're not watching this video today, it might be different codes, so go check it out. Now, we're just going to go over some notes here and some general topics to talk about. Here are the notes for the Player Voice. So we're going to go over both. And I think the most controversial one, of course, is going to be that Blue Marvel is epic, which we talked about yesterday. We'll get to that at the end, but that was a conversation for you. Okay, let's talk about Secret Warriors, Infestation, Rework, Expectations. What I got from that part of the conversation is, yeah, it was fine. It's good. It's doing what it's supposed to do. And he wants to do more stuff like that. What do you, I mean, I didn't get anything else out of that, but that's what he said, right? RJ
Yeah,
said.
it was pretty much do more stuff like that. The only other thing that was mentioned was about Big Time Spider-Man and his power level, because he's currently the largest character in the game at like 2.1 million when he's 3 diamond. And they mentioned talking about condensing that and making the numbers not get to like Yu-Gi-Oh levels, like just billions and billions. We want to kind of avoid that. So there could be like a compression of stats, not like a change of stats, but like a compression of the numbers. Cause like my Big Time Spider-Man's gear tier 20, 3 diamond, and he's 2.1 million.
Right.
Like he's massive. So him being bigger than a 3 diamond Odin is just weird. It just doesn't look right.
They could just knock the last 3 digits off of every number.
Literally.
I don't know. I'm just making up stuff.
The exact same damage numbers, the exact same everything. But the problem is the optics on that. People like big numbers, and if you're taking away their big numbers, then people don't like that. And I understand that aspect of it too. It's like people have been working for this for so long.
It's like a stock split. People get so excited about a stock split, and I'm not sure that really matters.
So you have the same money.
Yeah, it's the same thing. It's kind of the same. I mean, just look at the total value, total about your account. That's what matters, not the number of shares that you have. Okay, so this was a very interesting time, and this will probably be the title of the video is The Death of OP. Is OP dead? Maybe. Right? I mean, he said that it's on pause and they want to do something with it later. But before we talk about what was said, what's the background is that when OP came out, they said OP 12, Overpowered 12 would be tied to Purple ISO 5, and they said that there were going to be multiple tiers. Then when the stats came out for Purple ISO 5, I'm like, what the hell? 35% extra damage is the opposite of what they said, the reasons why they're doing Overpowered. What they said about Overpowered is that they were worried about what you said about Spider-Man. The numbers just getting out of control. And for people to want to buy Purple 5, to take their characters to 110, to get gear tier 21, in the past, they had to bake a bunch of stats, which we just saw right now with Purple 5, 35% this, 30, 40, all the damage, right? Just through the roof. And they said that was going to come in Overpowered. And that's why they had to do Overpowered, is because the stats were getting out of control. Sounds like they heard the message that we hate Overpowered, but it also didn't do what they wanted to do. Right? He talked about that. He said it really didn't do what we wanted it to do. So they are rethinking that. Go.
Does this mean the death of Overpowered?
Not
my
really.
Optimism says yes. My realism says no. Come on. Because this is something that obviously benefited spenders because they had that advantage on that extra gear tier and having that extra damage over people and stuff like that. And I don't think it's the death of it. I think this is, I think they're taking a hard look at it and really seeing what the goal they want and how it was not met. Cause that's what you mentioned. And he mentioned the goal was not met with Overpowered, right? It wasn't achieved, what they thought would be. So I don't think it's gone. I think it's going to be potentially retuned, maybe even like rehashed into a different mechanic or a different style of mechanic, or just the stats that they give based off of Overpowered are going to change. But he did say Purple ISO 5 will not bring Overpowered 12.
Okay.
So they are doing a pause on this, which is honestly, I'm kind of baffled when I heard him say that.
Yeah.
I was like, because this was a divisive thing that they did when they brought it out. And we told them, listen, dude, you're about to eat a shit sandwich from the community. Be ready for that. And they're like, oh, we know. And it's like, oh, okay, cool. As long as you know, get ready. And they were all for it.
They were not interested in feedback. They knew it was going to be back. They knew it was going to be bad. And so I know he said what they were looking for. They were hoping, expecting larger players to expand the bottom of their roster into gear tier 20 faster or whatever. In part, I think I did a little bit of that. Like you heard me complaining about having to take up She-Hulk for war, right?
Oh, yeah.
And so I did take her a little bit, right? Not a lot, but they just thought the whole community was going to do that. Max out their Crucible roster, max out their war roster just to get to the correct level of Overpowered for teams to work, and apparently it didn't do that. And so they went into Overpowered knowing the community was going to hate it, but they expected us to just like upgrade everything, and when we didn't, they're like, well, then why are we doing it if you guys hate it? So I mean that's like my takeaway from the conversation.
Yeah, like even with Overpowered, my War Machine is still like level 70. Because guess what? He spawns, he gives death proof, he dies. I don't give a shit. I don't care. Like it's just, it doesn't matter. And like War Machine does do good damage, right? But like my Liberty still takes out S tier teams with War Machine at level like 70. It didn't incentivize me to do that. And I think that was a little bit of something, like you said, that they wanted to incentivize people to do that because of that. Counter's not working because of Overpowered.
Well, and you're probably better if you don't care about the death proofs. You're probably better with Ultimus, anyways. But that's another
exactly.
So that's another conversation. Okay, Blastaar invasion meeting expectations. So this specifically there were two parts to this conversation. There was about red stars, and then there was about the current Blastaar event. So go ahead and give your. I remember we can talk about both parts. Whatever you think it was important to the community to know there.
Yeah, so at least from RJ's perspective, he was like, yeah, all the feedback I've been seeing about this event has been positive. It seems like a fun, engaging event, and I agree with that. I think it is fun. It's engaging. It's difficult too. Like it was actually hard, and I enjoyed that it was difficult. And then there was the other optic for people that like, hey, I bought this team all the way up. Why am I not able to absolutely slam these nodes, get top 250 and move on with my life, right? So there's both arguments to it. And I understand the argument of, hey, I paid for the ability to be able to destroy these nodes, right? But you do need gameplay in this game. Like you play the game to play. You don't play the game just to buy something and then just move on with your life. Like I do like the gameplay aspect of Blastaar and I do like that it gave us an incentive to push and leaderboards that give extra shards, give red stars early for people that want to be extra engaged and push for those. And they did like to see that extra engagement on, hey, we're giving people a little bit extra early if you want to push for this. But if you don't, you're still going to get your 7-7. So either you have time to do it, or you care to do it, or you don't care to do it. It doesn't matter, which is great.
So it's kind of an interesting thing. 48 days is what it is, basically. He wants people to have a 7-7 Blastaar. And what fueled this is that he felt there was way too many people in the community that do not have a 7-7 Quasar. He was saying there's a lot of people running around out there with a 1-star. Either they didn't understand the events, or they didn't engage with the event, or the event was too hard, it was too time consuming. And he said something got lost because they had a target number that they wanted people to be at a 7-7 Quasar. And when that didn't happen, and this Blastaar event, from a min-max, person that's willing to spend. That's what I am, right? I'm willing to spend. I think you are too. We'll spend a little bit. We don't buy everything day one. We're not flushing thousands and thousands of dollars into Marvel Strike Force every month. It's like I'll buy the battle passes if they have value. It's whatever, right? I spent my first $20 in like 3 months the other day, right? I mean, it's been a long time. Like I just didn't need it. So this Blastaar event is interesting because it's technically a temporary boost.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And I was able, and I don't know what level you did it, but I just wanted to place in the top 2,500. So I have a six Blastaar, 5 red, 5 red, 6 Blastaar, 2 runs, milestone run, and then an actual run. And that's it.
What I did too.
Yeah, and then
I did that too. And honestly, the biggest thing, I had fun playing it. Like it was interesting.
Cool.
Like it was actually fun content.
Blastaar's so fun to play, right?
Listen, I've been dogging on Blastaar since he released of like he's useless, he's terrible.
No,
this made me enjoy him.
Right.
Like the amount of times that I used a basic instead of a special or an ultimate to make sure he was getting the bomb burst was such a cool mechanic. Because I remember going through it the first time and I'm like, my teams are just not big enough. And then I was like, I wonder if I just basic more often.
Yes.
I literally essentially auto basic most of the run, and Blastaar just hitting the ult with 5 bomb burst was destroying everything. And it was super fun to see how good he can really be on specific teams and like when you play him correctly. I think that was awesome. I think that was so much fun, and it made me appreciate him more. Which I think is the point of these events. It makes you appreciate these characters and go, cool, I'm learning how to actually use them. Now I can use them in my day-to-day life, in Crucible, in War, whatever it is.
For you that don't know, Kahori plus Blastaar is a thing. I mean, they're a married couple at this point, as far as I'm concerned, right?
Yeah.
So if you haven't heard already, especially when we start getting these chunkier Blastaars, and this weekend in Cosmic Crucible, we're going to start seeing that, right? So it's like, man, Kahori needs to be on, not on defense anymore. If you want to use Blastaar, it pairs perfectly with Quasar. This event kind of reinforced that Blastaar is really, really good if you get 5 on him. I mean, he should be wiping the board, and he was in the event, so that's very interesting. Okay. Danger Room updates. So this is this was an interesting conversation, and my short takeaway from it is that they're going to continue to iterate. They were looking to get something done with it and it's always weird, like these conversations. It's like he's looking for a target reaction from the community that we don't know what he means exactly by that. The other thing that he said over and over again, before I move on to a different tangent, is that they're understaffed. I don't know what to tell you. It sounded like they have all these things they want to do, and there's all these things that I would want them to do, and there's all these things that he wanted to do. There's all these things that you want him to do. It's like, we have one group of people that do all of that, and they're working multiple projects. And like the question came up about, well, I don't even know what's on this list or not, but anyways.
Yeah, the updates to challenges and flash events.
Yeah, that's exactly where I was going to go. It's like, all right, down here, update to challenges and flash events. It's like, we'd like to do that. That's just not a priority.
Yeah.
It's just not a priority.
It's just not something we can prioritize because they want to do more things like the Blastaar invasion event where it's actually like engaging content that everybody's going to engage with. The problem is with flash events and challenges is you're going to play the mission one time.
Yeah, they were not interested in that
every time it comes by, and they're not interested in that because it's a waste of resources, which is why campaign missions, we don't get new ones very often. We get like the last one I think we got was like the Incursion campaign chapter 8 or something.
Right.
It just doesn't happen because it takes a lot of time to build those nodes. And then there's just no return on investment because you play it once, you 3-star it, you never play it again, ever, and you never will play it again.
And I feel like that's the purpose of Danger Room from their point of view, is to get this into a place where it does not require constant tweaking, yet it evolves and gets different every time we play it without them rebuilding it every single time, right? And that's kind of they would rather focus on something like Danger Room than challenges and flash events because that's a one and done. Once you play it once, you never look at it again and you sim it, right? And they're more interested in Danger Room. So he talked about longer Danger Room cycles where you could play it when you want to play it and you don't have to do it on day one, you don't have to do it on day two, but maybe a very long time period, and you just play when you want to. If you could only play on the weekend, play on the weekend. When he said that, I thought he meant like 7 days. Like 7 days is a full week. So one would think that you would have a day where you could do it, right, in a 1 week period, maybe your days off or whatever like that. But you thought it was like a month. I don't remember him saying a month, but maybe I just thought he was talking like a week or so.
Yeah, I thought it was more closer to a month, and what the kind of thought was like, hey, if you're going to run one danger room a month, why not just leave it up for the entire month so people can play it when they want? What's the point of taking it away other than like a leaderboard reward for earning X cells feeds into a specific leaderboard that they want, or there's specific rewards, whatever it is that are tied to a specific event running currently. But that would also help cut out the convolutedness of, why don't I have enough points in this milestone or this command center event? Oh, it's because I need to go to danger room to get that input to then put it into this input. And I think that level of like convoluted confusion just isn't needed. There's no point. So if they did extend danger room to say, hey, cool, it's going to be a month long, and then once this ends, the next danger room is going to run. Why not leave it up for a month? So if somebody gets bored and has an itch to play Marvel Strike Force at whenever time, they are able to go into danger room just for fun, just to enjoy the game. Even if they're already done with danger room, they just want to play the game. There's no war, there's no CC. It gives them the option to play danger room. Now, I would love if they did it like that, but they also fit danger room into the rotation of running a tower, running a satellite, running a sword, like whatever it is, every single month. So there's always something running and there's always something to do, because right now we have a huge lack of that. And even just replaying those events would be at least something to do. I'd still run through it for some new rewards. Give us diamonds on the reworks that are coming out every single month, right? And I'd run through it if I'm getting a 2 diamond, 3 diamond on Doctor Strange or Elsa, whatever it is. Brimstone was just announced yesterday. I'd run those events again, but we don't have that option to. And instead, they just kind of throw it into random milestones where we just get them in a global milestone instead of banking on using some gameplay to get it to up the engagement of the game.
Yeah. Speaking of the engagement of the game, Omega Raids, which, boy, oh my God. So I'll let you talk about this one, because I was like, my experience with Sebastian Shaw is that I'd never played him until Danger Room. He literally simmed raids on day one, and it was, how did they work it right here? The mega version of Annihilation is not completely off the table. Discussions continue. Changes raid are a simplification of what quickly becomes sim nodes in an effort to decrease low quality screen time. Hopes are to focus dev time on more different PvE features, events. Yeah, I mean, it is pretty much what I just said, is that, what was the point of Sebastian Shaw if I never play him? That seems really wild,
because they
right?
forced it, because you have to use Hellfire to do the hardest difficulties. They forced it. And that's the problem that was with the raids, is because we had things like Old Man Logan and Extreme shredding raid nodes. Why did we need the mutant team? And even when the mutant team was announced, we were like, oh, okay, cool. I don't care. I don't need them. Extreme Old Man Logan will still rip any node that walks in front of them. And then they're like, oh, no, it won't. Not when you can only use Hellfire. And I'm like, that's just a cheesy way to do it, because you're losing ways on how to counter the newest raid team to be able to take it out, which I get. Like, it's difficult when there's a lot of different aspects to the game. I understand that. Cool, whatever. But I think it was a cheesy way. And just like you said, I have Sebastian Shaw. I've never seen what he does. The only reason I have is because some people threw him in the mutant double room in Crucible. And even then, I've just been using Superior 6 Old Man Logan and absolutely shredding that room. And Shaw never takes a turn. So I've literally seen him do one turn ever. Personally.
I used him in the the Blastaar Scourge event, I guess.
Oh, cool. I didn't. I replaced him with Blastaar because I didn't have Shaw yet, and I literally blew through those nodes one shot the last 2 nodes, and I never used him, and I didn't even look in his direction. I wasn't even like, wow, this makes me want to get Shaw to compete. Nope, I didn't need him. I had no reason for him. So it's almost like putting a costume on a character that's on war defense. Why are people going to want that costume? What's the point, right? Because I'm never going to see that costume, and I don't care. I'm not going to be able to kind of show off. What does it matter to me?
Yeah, the point is they're not happy. There is another version of the Omega Raids that they're... I don't know if we're going to get it or not. It wasn't clear to me. Like, they'll...
No, it wasn't clear.
It wasn't clear. But there is a different...
He did say it's ready to go.
Yeah.
It's made. It's ready.
Yeah.
He's just, literally... click the button and it could be in the game, but it's just not.
It's not good, is what he's saying. So, okay, let's go to the next one. Expectation for the final legendary unlocks. I don't know what that means, actually. Tell me what that means. Yeah.
I didn't get too much on this either. When I was watching the call and listening to it, I didn't see too much about this. I mean, it seems like they're going to go in the same direction, hopefully, as Blastaar when it comes to running his event and then giving some extra shards and some extra red stars early. But they don't know if that's going to happen. It depends on how it's received as they collect more feedback. And as they see the end of chapter 2, how many people really ended Blastaar at 7-7, 7-5, whatever it was. Because a big thing he said was he was surprised at the amount of people who had 0 red stars on Quasar at the end of chapter 1. Like he even said it was a shocking amount of people. Right. And he's like, like you said, I don't understand where that disconnect came from. So I think they're trying to understand where that disconnect came from, and they're hoping that the changes to the Blastaar event are going to kind of bridge that gap for those people that just literally got nothing.
Yeah, he's not
because they didn't understand it.
To talk about this Blastaar Scourge, he wasn't convinced that this is going to be any representation of a final version either. Like what just happened is like, but they're okay. So let's talk about something that I talked about at length yesterday. Blue Marvel will not be a mythic, but an epic character. I think this is a monstrous problem. I think this is all garbage. What is your take on this?
I don't think epics have a good enough definition in this game, other than they are more heavily pay gated than every other character in the game. And I didn't realize that. I kind of put the pieces together when I saw you recording your video yesterday, that I literally have less stars on epics than I do mythics.
Right.
And epics are nowhere near the level of mythics when it comes to power scale. Like, I'm not double sacking a Captain Britain. I'm double sacking a Mephisto, though, if I need to. Like, am I still getting wiped by Phoenix Force? Absolutely I am. If I let him ult, I've messed up, right?
And I think,
and that's a thing.
Like, I think, and the question that I asked, people like you and in general, I mean, mortals that don't spend a lot of money in the game, like, what percentage of these characters from the date of release to the first year mark did I have at 7 yellow? And that's just not how they work. That's not how they work.
Spending 0, without spending none. Like, even at my Scarlet Witch right now, yours is 6-star, right? Mine's still 3-3. And guess what? She came out 11 months ago. Right. It's almost October already. But like, when you look at Mephisto, I had Mephisto 7.5, 7.4, whatever he was, right? 3-4 months after release.
Yes.
So what's the difference? Because the power metric does not correlate with the price of a character or the exclusivity of a character,
right? Which
is weird. So I don't know if Blue Marvel is just going to be like, cool, it's an epic, I don't have him, oh well. He's not game breaking like Mephisto was for a double sack or Super Scroll was for a single sack on release. So who cares?
So the I don't think that this is great. Also, this does another thing that I didn't talk about in yesterday's video, is sometimes they make nodes that say no mythics. Well, guess what? Blue Marvel is not a mythic. So like, they can, what Annihilus say? It says global city non-mythic. Oh, guess what? Blue Marvel is the only thing that works. I don't know what I don't know the tags very well.
Tags are there.
I don't. I have to go back and look at I don't even. Do they even have Blue Marvel tags yet? I mean, I don't even know.
I don't think so.
But the idea is, we could see some of it right here, right? Some of the speed and stuff like that. But like, whatever his tags are, they could just create nodes that say non-mythic, and guess what? That means you have to use Blue Marvel. And in general, legendaries and mythics are not directly monetized. I mean, I completely understand that you've got to buy a pack. You had to buy Creed to get Nick Fury. You had to buy this team to get that. But in general, it's not like you can say, I want to buy, I want to buy Professor X shards. The only time they ever did that, I think, was the Scourges and the Horsemen. You could buy those orbs. Remember, that was it?
They still have the orbs in game too.
Yeah, they're still there. But like, the epics, you can just buy. Yeah, I don't want to, well, Captain Britain, that was a little different, right?
Yeah, because you had to buy
so
Shuri,
big.
buy to unlock the ability to buy Captain Britain. That was a lovely time, right? Hey, you spent money on these characters for the privilege to spend money on Captain Britain. That was a great time. So hopefully they don't do something similar to that. I hope there's more gameplay related to Blue Marvel. Like there's actually like some sort of event that ties to him where we do have to build certain characters. Like obviously that's what it is, right? We had the table where it's Purple ISO 4, Purple ISO 5. And I hope the nodes or whatever it is, whether it's Dark Dimension nodes or it's like campaign nodes like the Professor X saga, it's actually interesting.
I'm looking at this guy's cape.
What are you staring at?
And this guy's cape is weird to me, right? It looks like it's got like a coat hanger, like he forgot to take his coat hanger
his
off.
Shoulder pads under.
Yeah, it's like he has shoulder pads for his cape.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
He does.
Maybe that's.
I see you squinting, and I'm like, "What are you?"
I'm looking at his model, going, "What is?" I mean, he looks pretty cool overall. And all right, let's move on. I get distracted easily. Annihilus, unlock method and game mode.
Yeah, so the unlock method's going to be more similar to Dark Dimension style is what they're leaning to, but not exactly Dark Dimension is what was talked about, which is good. He definitely talked about the Professor X saga not being what they wanted at all. He even said, my experience was not fun. Like I just built what was meta and I just ran through the nodes. And I had that same experience, but I decided to build terrible characters for fun. Like it created a challenge for me that Scopely could not create for me. So I handicapped myself when I took Shield Trooper, Stitcher, all those things, and I had fun with it. And nobody else had fun because they built meta.
So, okay, so the way that I see the Professor X saga is they were trying to create a solution where without telling us that we needed to build up Liberty, you had to build up Liberty. And then when 2-3 years go by, you just don't need Liberty.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like that was the intent of it because like there was this always risk is, build up. I know. Pick a random team from a million years ago that you don't want to build today to unlock Red Hulk.
Like Cabal, if you wanted to do villain global. People were like, "Oh, should I do Cabal?" I'm like, "Absolutely, you should not. They will get shredded."
Yeah, but I'm talking about like unlocking an old team like Red Hulk. Secret Warriors or whatever it was. You don't know, Secret Defender. I don't know, but it was something you don't want to upgrade today. And so they were.
Yeah. It was upgrading Secret Avengers for Green Goblin.
There you go. I was just like, oh, you don't want to do that now. And so I felt like they made a situation where, yes, today the characters, you got to use these characters to get through the nodes. But as time goes on, those are not going to be the best characters. Like, for example, now on the last node, you use Odin and you have to use Lilandra and then Fantastic Four, right? Okay, you're done.
Oh, yeah.
But that was not the team at release, but so it changes, right? But at release, you pretty much had to use whatever you had. So, I don't know. I don't know. I felt like I don't know that I had a bad experience in Professor X Saga. So I'm not sure what he meant by that. I mean, I thought it was okay. I definitely felt like I had better times. Like what was it? Dark Dimension 4 was great. I don't know if you remember that. Yeah, it was great. Yeah.
I think Dark Dimensions are better because there's choice in who you take.
Yeah.
And also you can slowly chip away at nodes. And if you're really engaged, you could sit there for an hour or two and get really good RNG and get a good run where you like almost one-shot it. Or you can go, I got wiped. Oh, well, I'll come back tomorrow. But you have that choice. That's what I like about Dark Dimension. I think that's the best part.
It always felt like to me the other Dark Dimensions were like I could make a team to get in early, but I wouldn't finish it as quickly. You know what I mean? And it was always
kind of that balancing act.
And then there was also a balancing act over, do I want to go quality over cheap? Do I want to take in Shield Trooper, or you do like Madeline Pryor, whatever, right? Just like these characters like nobody else wants to take up. Or do I want to build up Mephisto and he costs 5 pieces instead of 2 pieces or whatever? Just like, do I want to go I don't feel like there was as much of that in Professor X. Okay, Knull shards. So this was not in the player voice nodes, but they basically said that they were not going to distribute Knull shards without beating Knull. Like that, they're not going to throw them in the Battle World store. They're just not going to do that. And so they, this part of the conversation was very clear to me is that Sentry will come out and be part of Battle World and it'll be different, blah, blah, blah. It's still going to be alliance based. but his thinking was that Knull would be a separate area inside of Battle World that was more tied to individuals rather than your alliance, so that you can kind of do your own thing and get Knull. But he was not going to give Knull out anywhere else. Like, you got to fight Knull to get Knull, was what he was saying. I mean, did you take it any other way? That's what I thought he was saying.
No, and that's what I got to, was that you have to, he doesn't want to lose that experience of a boss fight, which I completely agree with. I think new players need to come in and experience that boss fight, because I think it is a fun aspect of the game. The only thing that I would not like for long term is forcing people to build Astral, because Astral's obviously the team that counters the Knull boss fight, right? The best possible.
Yeah, so but you can do like Vigilante now if you want to.
True, yeah.
There's other teams.
And you can do other teams and stuff, absolutely. Yeah. But I definitely do like that they're not just going to throw him into a random store and just say, hey, go get him. What he did talk about was that he doesn't want like 22 members of an alliance to be wanting to get Sentry and 2 people needing Knull, and then like the entire alliance needing to fight Knull instead, because they're trying to get those players caught up.
That's not going to happen.
That is not going to happen. So I think that's great. I think the Knull is going to be more of a single player experience moving forward once Sentry releases, and you can kind of tailor it to your needs. Like if you're in an alliance and, hey, I miss Knull, or I'm a little bit short and I got into a good alliance, then you could do one more iteration of Knull to finish them off, and then get to the Sentry part with your alliance. But I do like that. I think that was a good kind of middle ground that they found. I do agree that they should not get rid of that gameplay, because that gameplay is crucial. It's kind of like the APOC saga. You can't just get rid of it and give APOC in the Cosmic Crucible store. It's not worth it.
Yeah, maybe they'll do something, or they'll have one node have both of them fighting at the same time. Where have we seen that before? Anyways, war twice per week. New war structure. So this is coming sooner than later. I know there's been play tests on this. They're working on it. He also suggested that he personally wanted to go back to 3 times a week. That is not off the table, is all I wanted. I didn't get anything else out of the call. It was like, we know that there's something changing. I know it's been play test. I think there's going to be more play tests. It's not done. But that's happening that soon. Like, I feel like that's almost done.
Yeah. It does seem almost done. I mean, and these were conversations we had back when we went to Scopely in California. Like, we had it was like a 2.5, almost 3-hour conversation about war. And it was a whole thing that we were talking about changes to it and what would work and what wouldn't. And then we brought something specific to their attention, and they were like, oh, we didn't think about that. I'm like, what do you mean you didn't think about that? If you launched with this would make war so much worse than it would make it better on doing the attacks and stuff.
Yeah. But something that they didn't talk about, and I seen in another game, is where, you get X amount of attacks. Like, you can attack 10 teams, but the other game will give you 4 redos on a single room. Like, if you botch an attack, you get to retry. If you botch an attack, you get to retry. But they were talking about like allowing you to retry infinite amounts of times.
Infinite amount of times.
I was like, oh, come on. Then we have we're presented with opportunities like, hey, this is a 1 in 1,000 counter, play 1,000 times. You know what I mean? So you get perfect RNG. I mean,
exactly. It becomes a scourge, which people don't like the reset aspect of the scourge. But like,
without a reset button,
because you can't make it either.
Without a reset button, exactly. we can't. We have to back out of the node and go back into the node. We can't just hit replay and start the node over. Anyways, I don't know if they're going in that direction. That was a conversation 6 months ago, right? And it's something different today. But anyways, new wars coming soon. It could be going back to 3. That is a thing. Cosmic Crucible updates. So there was a lot of conversation of rewards, and rare rewards are going. I kind of want to include that here too. Or is that not? I don't know. Is that part of it? I don't remember if that was part of it. But anyways, Cosmic they want to remove 32 from the ranking system. They don't like the tournament. It sounded like they almost wanted to make 32 optional. Like, if you want to do it, fine. If you don't, and give it kind of that breathing room between seasons. What did you take about that?
Yeah, the Ultimate 32, I mean, the big thing was not wanting to do the rank decrease, but also making it so people still want to engage with that week of Crucible. So finding that balance, because they do understand the frustration of the Ultimate 32 ranking being decreased and then like, hey, cool, I did great this season, and then the Ultimate 32 comes out and I go 0-4, 0-5, and then all my progress in the season was just lost. So like, it's just a deflating feeling, and they don't want that to happen.
Right.
We also talked about rewards being put into Crucible, such as like gear tier 20 to make it more incentivized, a new progression, whatever. And he did talk about like when they did Quicksilver in there as a release method, and how the engagement did go up. And he talked about wanting to do that again. And I told him, I was thinking to myself, like, that's a great idea. I was so excited when Quicksilver was in there, because I was like, damn, I want to win now because I want Quicksilver faster.
Well, or like, I hate to put it this way, you know, like, I'm glad that I got Blastaar for free. I'm glad that I got Quasar for free. But what if Blastaar was tied to Crucible? What if Quasar was tied to War rewards and you got a couple shards that are playing in that? Maybe not. If you hate the game mode, that's a terrible idea. But
right,
you know what I mean? But you know, anyways, but you know, it's an idea anyways, right? You know, so.
But I mean, the fact that the game mode's optional is not a good thing, right? I don't like that game mode's optional. And I understand some people don't like War, some people don't like Crucible, but like in a game like this, game modes cannot be optional. Okay, every game mode needs specific rewards.
Well, then let me ask you, because you don't like War. What if Quasar, the only way you could have got Quasar is if you played in War? How would you, because I know you try
a lot harder in War.
You try a lot harder in War. Okay.
I legitimately, like, it would give me a reason, because right now War, the rewards, I don't care what the rewards are from War, and like pushing to a top 100, top 50, top 10 alliance, I'm going to get an extra 3 million gold every 2 weeks. I don't need that. What's the point? I don't need purple ISO right now. I don't need blue ISO, and those are the only rewards that you really get from War right now. I don't need gold. So what's the point? It's the same thing with Crucible. The rewards you get are going to be like training materials, right? I don't really need training materials. What's the point in pushing? And then the diamonds that you get, I also don't need diamonds. What's the point in pushing? So like, if there was a reason to push, I'd actually want to push. I'd actually engage with War more and feel like, cool, let's rally together as an alliance and let's get X character maybe a week or two faster. Let's have some fun with this. And it would actually be more of like a communal, let's do this together kind of thing. But right now, War is just, I do my 10 attacks, I move on with my life, because there's no push, there's no drive, there's no incentive.
Yeah, and I got to put this out there to you, like someone said, or maybe I said, I don't know. The question came up was like, what rewards in XYZ game mode would want you to play in XYZ game mode? And it was like, well, some people want gold, some people want gear tier 20. Fine, I get that, right? But at some point, you might not need those. And it's like, the only thing that I want out of a game mode is purple 4 and 5. And they're not going to put it there. I mean, there's really not a lot of stuff out once you've gotten through your gold. And I mean, I need gear tier 20, sure. But, you know, I feel like that's just around the corner of them loosening that up anyways. I mean, I feel like the gear tier 20 is going to be coming in different places, and we'll find out. All right, we're going to end it there. There was a couple other things on the player voice notes that were just, we'll just read them real quick. New game mode, they didn't really talk about what that was, but new stuff is coming. Diamond's Red Star Awakened ability should be appearing in chapter stores before they move into the new shops. Notice some undo, like Shadow King Diamonds, new shops changes should be coming before the end of the year. Maybe more surprises too. Noted a lot of leaderboard leading to fatigue. They took time to Big Boss to take time to the Big Boss to share direct feedback with the characters that get leaderboard as opposed to those getting orb. How this can lead to bad feeling. Those who do not compete, there's no event to compete in. This is not an event. This is an auction. So this is worded. This whole sentence is worded like weird to me. It's like you don't compete in a leaderboard. It's an auction, and you spend. It's nothing to do with competition or participation. It's like it's an auction. Did you spend or not spend? That's it. That's all it is.
Yep. So and were you on within the last like 15 minutes of the leaderboard to sit there and make sure you kept your position, and were you able to buy offers quickly enough before you drop low enough and get that threshold? And that's a thing. Like I don't like that very much. And like even for this event, I had like 15,000 energy that I saved up for the Superior Spider-Man, and I got top 1,000 for the first time ever because I just had like 15,000 energy, and then I took Hobgoblin to gear tier 20 because I cored him. And I got top 1,000, so I got like 220 Mystic pieces. I was like, cool. It does
benefit min-maxers and hoarding, which I think is good. All right, we're almost at 40 minutes. We're going to end the video before we hit the 40-minute mark. Bye for now.